welcome to the first ever YouTube video from the channel Kotula Consulting. Trust yourself, find your Everest. This idea has been years in the making. It's something I've always wanted to do. And it's really promoting my first book, which is called Trust Yourself, Find Your Everest. Find it on bookshelves. Well, hopefully on bookshelves, because actually the publishing thing's a lot more work than I thought it would be, but we're learning as we go. And I was like, why not start a YouTube channel? Because everyone has one. And I can just talk about my book, talk about life. And kind of the purpose of this book is I'm going to try to break down, basically there's 12 chapters. Each chapter has a different way of approaching some of life's most difficult journeys and challenges. And then at the end of every chapter kind of has a 7-day module in order for you to work at it at home. And so the purpose of the YouTube channel then is to kind of bring this book as it's kind of in the works of being published and all the fun. I'm not very artsy, so like I've had the idea for the cover for years, but actually putting it from brain to paper, it's not like you can just, make it appear like Houdini. It's a lot of work, but we're doing it. And so I'm going to try just do every YouTube video, base it off a topic from the book. Kind of break down a chapter, because a lot of these lessons have helped me throughout my own time and my journey to where I'm at now. And creating this channel is also a great way for me to just help others as well as help myself. I feel like the more you talk about things you've been through, not only allows you to reflect on them, but also can help other people in the world just to go through, because at the end of the day we might come from different backgrounds, but we all are human and we all go through very similar challenges, trials, and tribulations. So today I was basically just seeing how I looked on photo booth, but I wanted to talk about something in this introductory video. So I'm going to call this episode Onomatopoeia, and you're like, whoa, what is that? So think of it when you were little and you had that little thing with the animal sounds. Cow goes, moo, right? And how do you spell moo? M-O-O, I think, right? You can fact check me. But M-O-O is like the word the animal is making, and that's called an onomatopoeia. It's like the sound that the cow is making, and it's like how you would spell it. So this episode title is Onomatopoeia, and it's going to be about embracing your sound. So, and kind of what I want to talk about is, we know that every word has a rhythm. Every person has a sound. And if you listen closely enough, you'll realize that life itself speaks in onomatopoeias. You have the hum of your breath, the thud of your heart, the sigh after a long day, and the click of your pen as you start to write something new, or you're just, clicking on your pen. And today's episode is about sound. Not just the kind that reaches your ears through headphones, but the kind that reveals your soul. And this is why I'm calling it, embracing your sound. Insert now some like introductory theme song or jingle that I do not have yet, but I'm learning to play guitar on YouTube, so, stay tuned. So basically kind of what I want to go about through this is that, in life, we live in a world that teaches us that we have to turn the volume down on who we are. Sometimes we have to quiet our laughter. We have to swallow our opinions. We have to muffle our pain. And somewhere, in this noise of expectations and comparison, we forget what our authentic sound is, because we're too afraid of just being ourselves, being just that person that, we know we are meant to be. For a long time, I didn't realize I was doing this. I tried to speak like the people I admired, calm, cool, collected, keeping up with the Joneses, try to be professional, even though when my spirit was screaming to break free. But that's the thing about suppressing your sound. It doesn't go away. It finds new ways to echo, through anxiety, exhaustion, burnout, addiction, isolation, resentment, anger, fear, insecurity, all of these just negative feelings. But then one day, one day, literally a couple days ago, I thought about the word onomatopoeia. And, first thing I think about is moo, but you think of buzz, splash, whisper. I don't know if whisper actually is one, but but these are words that embody their essence. And then it hit me, as people, we are onomatopoeias as well. The healthiest version of ourselves is when our sound matches our truth, when what we say aligns with who we are. And if you think about it, go to a comedy show, right? I'm currently living in Nashua, New Hampshire. Matt Rife comes to the Garden New Year's Eve. If you subscribe and like this channel, buy me a ticket. Why not? YOLO. But there's gonna be a lot of laughter in that room, and then the sharp inhale right before there's a breakthrough or a drop. But basically, that silence kind of holds 1,000 emotions. These sounds, they tell stories, just like a piece of art tells 1,000, or a piece of art is worth 1,000 words. They're not random. These are all reminders that we are alive. When you embrace your sound, you start to live in harmony with your identity. You stop apologizing for your volume, whether that's loud passion or quiet peace. You realize your sound isn't meant to be compared, it's meant to be tuned. And for me, embracing my sound meant learning to speak with honesty, the gifts of the Spirit, even when my voice trembled. And it does, because, that first time you're gonna go, you have to confront a roommate, be honest with a partner, set a boundary. You tremble because you're nervous. It's, you're uncomfortable, but to get comfortable, you have to be uncomfortable. And this meant realizing that my healing journey wasn't meant to be silent. It had a rhythm. Sometimes it was chaotic. A lot of the times it was chaotic, last couple of years. And sometimes it was calm, but at the end of the day, it was always real. It was always Adam doing it, me. And, it's okay. Sometimes maybe right now where you're at in life, that your sound is a whisper. Maybe it's a roar, good for you. Maybe it's a quiet hum of you're just trying to survive through the day. Or maybe you're just having that breakthrough moment that, you just had the best idea, and I'm going to see you on Shark Tank in a couple weeks. Whatever it is, honor it, embrace it, live it. Don't rush to change your sound just to fit into someone else's rhythm. That's really the purpose of this episode today. This would be a good time to put some soft piano music in there as well. Because, authenticity is really the most beautiful melody there is. And when you stop mimicking other people's frequencies, you start to discover your own tone, your own onomatopoeia. I'll tell you this. Healing sounds and is different for everyone. For some, it's journaling. For others, it's prayer. For some, it's laughter after years of silence. And for others, it's the first tear they've allowed to fall. My old sponsor used to tell me, Adam, you need water to grow. Let the tears run. It's your inner subconscious just wanting to get out and to express how it's been wanting to been expressed for years. But all of it, though, the buzz, the thuds, the whispers, the sighs, the cracks, it's music. It's you returning home to yourself. So embrace your own internal symphony. And, I kind of want to, at the end of every episode here, I kind of just want to start with reflective pauses. And more just reflections for you to take, throughout the week to your next video. If you continue to follow along with me. And so here's my challenge for you this week. Find your sound, not your career title, the names after the letters after your last name, the zeros in your bank account, not your social media persona, who liked who, and, talked to Becky on the third day of Becky holiday. Not your curated version of peace, but your own sound. What does your truth feel like when it vibrates through your body? What would it sound like if you finally stopped editing your own voice? When you speak, when you move, when you create, let it sound like you. Because you, my virtual friend, follower, are an onomatopoeia. You are the living sound of your own story. Ooh, that was good. Yeah, add music in there now too. And I just close with this. Thank you for tuning in if you have. I'm really excited to go on this journey. I'm really excited for this book to eventually come to the public. It shows all of the sides of me, and as I continue to grow in my own journey of professionally, recovery, as a son, as a brother, as a friend, as like a future spouse, future father. And this is just a way for me to express my creativity, a way for me to just give back what was so freely given to me. And I am just really excited for this. So I hope, I can look back on this in 10 years and be like, dang, you know, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. So, and while there's breath in your lungs and, in neurons that have action potentials in your brain, there's always hope. There's always a way to get back on that horse and just continue to strive to be a better person day in and day out. And just, with this, share it with someone that might need a reminder to embrace their sound. And growth isn't silent, it's honest. And, just keep climbing and keep sounding like yourself. And with that, thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you next time.